73% of Jung's patients said the same sentence. I'm exhausted. On paper, they were the winners. People who had forced a tyrannical boss to back down, pushed a manipulative spouse out of the game, cornered the family member who'd been flexing power for years. Yet in the consulting room, a common picture appeared. Victory sounded loud on the outside and faint on the inside. People said, I proved I was right. But somewhere within, something seemed to have quietly gone dim. In 1921, a patient who stepped into Jung's office in Zurich showed this truth in its bare form. The man walked in apologizing for his steps, his breath, even for being in the room at all. He seemed crushed. But as the conversation unfolded, it became clear. He had won a long psychological war. He had pushed a narcissist back, step by step, until the other man was fully neutralized. And yet when he looked in the mirror, he didn't recognize himself. I'm exhausted, he said. I won, but something emptied out inside me. It's as if my light has been dimmed. Maybe you've lived this too. You managed an argument flawlessly, presented your evidence, and everyone said, you're right. That evening, instead of relief, a strange heaviness settled in. A tired voice wandered the room whispering, I no longer care about anything. That odd silence that arrives right after the moment of victory, that's exactly where an invisible cost gets written. Jung described this cost as psychological contagion. When you spend a long time dealing with a toxic person, you start using their tools without noticing. Your tone hardens, your sentences shorten, the muscles in your face stay on alert. At first, it's defense. Over time, your nervous system adapts to the new language. The battlefield ends, but your body stays at war. Let's make this concrete. Sarah is a brilliant 34-year-old marketing manager. Her boss, Marcus, takes credit for success, shifts blame for failures, never apologizes. Argument is his natural habitat. At first, Sarah stayed reasonable. She explained, showed empathy, set calm boundaries. The result? Zero. Marcus read her understanding as weakness and pressed even harder. The break came in a meeting. In front of everyone, Marcus presented Sarah's work as if it were his own visionary move. That day, Sarah felt something shift inside. This type only understands power. The strategy changed. She began preparing for meetings not only for content, but also to disrupt Marcus's maneuvers. She amplified her wins, documented his errors with cool precision. She built quiet coalitions in the office, organized witnesses, kept a file. 6 months later, Marcus was transferred. On paper, it was a clean victory. But the first sentence Sarah spoke when she entered her therapist's office was, I don't recognize myself in the mirror. It's crucial to understand the anatomy of this transformation. Think of Jung's map in 5 stages, so the tracks are easier to see. Stage 1, the first clash. The toxic person attacks. You respond by reasonable means. You explain, present evidence, seek mediation. Eventually, a sentence passes through your mind. This person is different. The moment the rules begin to shift is right here. Stage 2, strategy shift. This type only understands power. The moment you think this, the ground of the game slides from truth to dominance. Where courtesy fails, another voice rises within. Speak their language. Stage 3, obsession. Your first thought in the morning is them. Your last at night, them again. You rehearse their behaviors, sentences, and gestures in your head over and over. The mind produces strategy 24/7. The more you think, the better prepared you assume you are. In reality, your life space shrinks. Stage 4, identity erosion. Things you enjoyed start to look unnecessary. Music, books, walks get pushed aside. It all reduces to one important thing: winning. Your social circle narrows, your face hardens, your body grows used to high alert. Even applause doesn't release the internal tension. Stage 5, the toxic victory. The target is neutralized. The person you disliked exits your life. Congratulations. Friendly pats on the shoulder. Well done. Messages. And then the silence. From the outside, you're the winner. Inside, something is missing. The contagion has achieved its aim, but it has transformed you too. This isn't a literary warning. It's a neurobiological process. When your nervous system runs for months in the loop, detect threat, respond, prepare counterattack, the resources assigned to empathy and flexibility get throttled. Your voice hardens. Your words get shorter. Your micro-expressions carry defensive data in microseconds. The brain starts scanning even close ones as potential threats. This is what seeped into Sarah's home. After getting rid of Marcus, she carried the same sharpness to her husband and child. In moments that called for listening, pausing, softening, she used short sentences aimed at superiority. Because her nervous system was now tuned to the question, is there a threat? Here's the irony of the toxic victory. The tactics work. That's why they're hard to drop. Once they deliver results, the mind saves them as a general strategy. Then the method loses its target and spreads everywhere, in traffic, in friendly conversations, even in your inner dialogue. The language stays the same while the context changes. Inside, a part slowly wears out. Meanwhile, you count, staying on your feet, as success. So how do you spot this trap? Run a few honest mini-tests on yourself. What happens in your body after a disagreement? Does your jaw lock? Do your shoulders turn to stone? Do you replay the same scene at night again and again? When you explain something to someone, are you truly explaining, or are you slamming down evidence? When you answer, is your aim to be understood or to come out on top? Does your inner voice whisper win, or does it whisper connect? These questions mirror which stage you're in. Another of Jung's observations is this: the more we reject our own shadow, the more we lock onto shadows outside. The traits you hate in the other person trigger a raw, unaccepted piece within you. The defensive mind loves to make this trigger invisible by dressing it in a cloak of moral superiority. But every external war swells because it touches a fragile spot inside. Seeing this calls not for guilt, but for a correction of intent. Correcting intent is not giving up. It's cleaning up the method. It doesn't ignore external attack. It protects your inner wholeness from scattering. An old warning holds its power here. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. That sentence isn't here to blame us. It's here to test our intent continuously. Ask not only, what am I doing, but also, who am I becoming? The turning point in Sarah's home came through her little daughter's sentence. "Mom, your face looks different today." In that moment, Sarah heard her tone. Sharp, short, impatient. Up until then, she had secured justice, gotten her due, finished the job. The cost had slipped into her home. The question, who am I turning into, echoed in a full sentence for the first time that evening. Healing is rarely one big leap. It's born of small adjustments. The next day, Sarah made two decisions. 1. Consciously drop the language of war in daily relationships. 2. In the professional arena, write her boundaries down and use the system. She added 3 headings to her notebook: intention, tempo, boundary. Before each conversation, she took one breath and distilled her intention into a single sentence: I want to be understood. While speaking, she lowered her shoulders, loosened her jaw, slowed her pace. When the slam the evidence reflex arose, she paused and asked, am I saying this to dominate or to come closer? Simple rituals produced surprising results. The 90-second rule: when triggered, start the breath, not the conversation. For 90 seconds, watch only the body. When the wave passes, your sentence comes out clean. The 3-sentence rule: reduce your message to 3 short sentences. More invites defense. The I statement window. Instead of you always, say, right now I. Own the feeling and the boundary. the not now. Right. When a demand comes at the wrong time, avoid an automatic yes/no. Say, I need to review this. I'll get back to you at 5 p.m. today. You gain time. Your decision space clears. The closing line for meetings. That's it for today. Let's continue in writing. It doesn't end the relationship. It ends uncontrolled wandering. Let's be clear. Toxic people exist, and sometimes hard measures are necessary. But protection and imitation are not the same thing. Firmness separates by intent. The same sentence, with a different intent, carries a completely different energy. A clear boundary set with a gentle voice is stronger than a shouted, blurry boundary, because the former organizes you inside as well. What you call power is not the ability to crush others. It's the capacity to have impact while keeping your own wholeness. If you're still watching, you've likely spotted traces of the toxic victory in your own life, at work, at home, or in your inner dialogue. The good news is this: a learned language can be unlearned. The nervous system is flexible. It can be taught new paths, slowing down, clarifying intent, writing boundaries, listening to the body. These are not loss of power. They are the economics of power, ways to produce more effect with less energy. And most important, you decide the price of winning. When you know why you're saying a sentence, your method won't take you away from yourself. Correct your intent, slow your pace, write your boundary. While the voice of victory is loud outside, let your light remain inside as well. Because real success is not silencing the other, it is speaking without losing yourself. Sarah's moment of reversal began on a Wednesday in Jung's office. Yesterday, my daughter told me, "Mom, you're talking like Marcus now," she said, her face pale. Even a 5-year-old had noticed the sharpness in her tone, the shortened sentences, the alertness in her gaze. Sarah took a deep breath. What have I become? The curtain fell right then. While winning the struggle with Marcus, she had brought the method home. At home, too, she had begun to speak with a reflex to dominate. Jung would have called this the moment of awakening, the moment when the mask falls and the intention shows. Jung spoke calmly. Sarah, while you were fighting Marcus, you didn't bring him up to your level. You brought yourself down to his. The sentence hit like a slap. And what about you? Did something similar echo in your life as you listened? Have you heard, "You're not like you used to be," from the person you love most? A night when you looked in the mirror and asked, "Is this me?" Jung underlined this truth. These moments are a chance, because once you notice, you can change direction. That day, Sarah chose to change direction and started working with Jung on 8 core principles. The first 4 were about direct defense, calming the nervous system, and stopping the contagion. The next 4 were about strengthening, organizing her sphere of influence, and reclaiming her freedom. Rule 1: stop playing the game. Jung's explanation was clear. Narcissists constantly create power races. The moment you enter the race, you begin to lose. Taking the stage the other side demands is accepting an invisible contract. Sarah's first assignment was this: at the next attack, no counterattack, only a short acknowledgement and a return to the agenda. Microsentences. Understood. I've noted that. Let's get back to our agenda. This isn't surrender. It's changing the stage to protect your nervous system and the frame. When you stop playing, the brain exits the threat loop and returns to focused work. Rule 2: keep emotional distance. Watch them like a clinical case, Jung said. Not shutting off empathy, but stopping the feeding of it. When you stop giving emotional energy, the other person's fuel drops. Sarah worked with this image. A glass wall. The words reached her ears but echoed and softened on the wall. Micro-practice. Drop the shoulders, loosen the jaw, slow the breath. Count 3 heartbeats before you answer. Response, not reaction. This distance isn't coldness. It's contact without self-loss. Rule 3. Keep records, skip drama. What drama can't resolve, protocol can. Jung gave Sarah a small notebook. Date, time, event, witness, outcome, 4 lines. No complaining outside, record keeping inside. This isn't to inflate victimhood, but to clarify reality. And use written confirmation lines. In today's meeting, we reached decision X. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Drama raises tension and breaks thinking. Records pull the discussion back to ground and ensure tomorrow's exit plan. Rule 4. Clear boundaries, 0 explanations. When you say no, don't explain why. Explanation is the doorway that invites manipulation. Micro-sentences. I'm not available for that. I'm not proceeding in that way. I prefer to continue this in writing. Polite, but brief. Being kind isn't the same as pleasing. Clear boundaries organize you inside. Your tone can stay gentle while your frame stays sharp. Once these 4 rules went live, the scene shifted quickly in the first weeks. Marcus tried to corner her 6 times. The old Sarah would have launched a counterattack on the spot. The new Sarah said, "Understood," and returned to the agenda. A stunned silence. In the second week, Marcus was more aggressive because he wasn't getting the dramatic dance he expected. Sarah watched with clinical eyes, jotted short notes in her notebook, counted her breath. By week 3, the picture had flipped. The attacks lost bite. Marcus started avoiding her. "It's as if the spell broke," Sarah said. Jung smiled. The magic wasn't just getting rid of Marcus. Sarah began reading in the evenings again, ran around outside with her kids on weekends, and with her husband, the drive to come out on top was replaced by curiosity and flexibility. "The me who was missing for 2 years is coming back," she said. Jung's emphasis was clear. Proper protection doesn't make you resemble the other. It returns you to yourself. Rule 5. Drop the defense. Narcissists constantly push you into defense, Jung said. The more you defend, the weaker you look. The cure. Not every claim requires a response. Don't mistake everything for a question. Micro-sentences. Noted. I see it differently here. I've added this to the agenda. Sometimes no answer at all. Silence is the shortcut to resolve. Defense hands the frame to the other person. Drop it, and the frame returns to you. Rule 6. Manage your resources. Time, attention, energy, the Holy Trinity. Those who don't invest these in the right place pay the highest price, Jung would say. Sarah added quiet blocks to her calendar. No notifications, no meetings, focus on backlog. She labeled conversations with time. I can give 20 minutes to this topic. She set 2 email windows, 10:00 a.m. and 4:00 p.m. Micro-habit, the 3 priorities rule. Write 3 concrete outcomes for the day and say no to the rest. Marcus's chaos stopped being the day's agenda. Rule 7. Build your own reality. Instead of joining the chaos, make your value system visible. A morning ritual, a short physical movement, 2 minutes of writing your intention. Who do I want to be today? A small wins log. 3 concrete steps at day's end. A support map. 2 people who clarify your decisions, 1 activity that regulates your emotions, 1 source that opens your mind. This scaffolding sets up an echo chamber inside against the noise outside. Rule 8. Have an exit plan. Don't enter a war with no exit. That's suicide, Jung said. An exit plan strengthens courage. Here's a template. 1. Written records and confirmations. 2. Escalate to the proper channel, HR, legal, upper management. 3. Options for changing role and scope. 4. A timeline. 5. A red line list. If this happens, I will end the relationship. Role. Micro sentences. I'm documenting this. I will not work under these conditions. Here's my alternative proposal. I'm ending the meeting here. 6 months later, Sarah's sentence was this. It's like I have an invisible shield. Toxic behaviors change direction before they reach me. Jung called this psychological immunity. Like bodily immunity, it strengthens not with constant exposure, but with the right dose, the right technique, and rest. The nervous system no longer locks onto one frequency. Instead of threat scanning, a space opens up for choice. One more side effect appeared: conscious contagion. Just as toxicity spreads, calm and clarity spread too. Sarah's short, kind, and clear sentences echoed in the team. Off-topic rants in meetings dropped. People got used to written confirmations. The pattern, understood, let's return to the agenda, became the new normal. Marcus didn't change, but when the ground changed, his impact weakened. Power wasn't something sitting in one person's hand. It was the sum quality of relationships. The value of these principles isn't limited to handling difficult people. It shows up everywhere in life. In family dialogue, in traffic, in client calls, even in bargaining with your own inner voice. Dropping defense, protecting your resources, building your own reality, and knowing the exit. These create a power economy, more effect with less energy. And most of all, the method doesn't take you away from yourself. A short checklist. Ask yourself, am I being pulled into someone else's game, or am I on my own agenda? Is my answer a reaction or a choice? Am I saying this to come out on top or to make contact? Am I honoring my time, attention, energy budget? What is my one clear boundary for today, and how will I state it? A daily rhythm for practice. Morning, 2 minutes of intention. Who will I be today? 3 deep breaths, 1 priority. Midday, a 10-minute quiet block, an email window. Evening, write 3 small wins. Empty the leftover tension in your body with a walk or stretches. Weekly, update your red line list. Schedule 1 support conversation. Remember, firmness isn't always loud. Sometimes the firmest sentence is the calmest. No, I'm not proceeding in that way. When order forms inside, the outside noise loses its meaning. And yes, no longer taking the bait is a decision sentence. Each repetition lays a new path in your nervous system. A few concrete dialogue templates. Aggressive generalization. You never get anything done on time. Response. I see that differently. Today, I delivered X. Let's return to the agenda. Unfair load shifting. You take this on too. Response. My priorities are A, B, and C. To take this, I'd need to postpone X. That's not viable. Passive-aggressive hint. Whatever. Do what you want. Response. That's unclear. If you have a concrete suggestion, write it. If not, I'll proceed with the current decision. Add on to Rule 3, a 3-point meeting recap. Decision, owner, date. Short and neutral. No emotion, just data. It moves the debate from the personal stage to the process stage. For emotional distance, a mini detox. At day's end, 3 breaths, a brief body scan, and a 2-sentence close. What left me today? What stayed with me today? It signals to your nervous system that the day is over. While dropping defense, use the 3-gate filter. Is what you're about to say true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If it fails 2 of these, the sentence waits. While building your own reality, apply the agenda comes from me principle. What will I have in hand when I leave this conversation? When it drifts, bring it back gently. I noted that. Let's return to our main topic. In the exit plan, keep 1 emergency mantra in your pocket. I'm ending the meeting here. Let's continue in writing. Then the protocol. Record, confirm, proper channel, timeline, red line. Final note. With psychological immunity, triggers don't disappear. Their effect shortens. A sentence that used to burn your day becomes a wave that lasts 10 minutes and recedes. Progress is measured not by the intensity of the event, but by the reduction in swing time. Leave a single sentence in the comments, I no longer take the bait. It's not just a motto, it's a change of heading. If you want to tell your story, add a few lines. Which rule worked most for you? Which micro-sentence closed the door at the right moment? Every piece of clarity shared here becomes a small lamp in someone else's darkness.